Welcome to episode 152 of the Inside Byte, recording on Juneteenth that my work did not let me take off today because they're racist, so there's that. So maybe they'll enjoy freedom one day.
I'm off.
Where are you?
Yeah, I got off today. I actually learned about the history of this holiday. It's pretty interesting. Until like last year, I didn't know what it was all about. So
I mean, it's the day no longer slavery, right?
Right, like the actual
day
like,
of it, right?
Like it reached everywhere at that point. And strangely enough, Texas was the first one to honor that, which I would have never guessed that to be the case.
Well, see, Texas, like as a whole, I guess you would say in terms of its politics, seems to be right. But sure. I don't know. So many parts of Texas are like the exact opposite. And the same thing happens with Florida.
Sure.
I would say California as a whole is like, you know, if you're talking the big states, California is just like from top to bottom, all blue. But there's definitely like huge sections of like Texas pockets, and Florida where it's like exact opposites and you go like an hour or two over. So
Yep. No, I think you're definitely right about that. Yeah. Even New York is blue, but you can definitely find your areas where it's totally different. So yeah.
It's really just New York City, and then the very moment you just start going, I don't know, a bit north and getting into the farmlands, it's very different. Very different.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. And I only know because I had to drive all through that, going up to like Maine and stuff. It's actually really pretty.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of really nice areas around there. So
yeah, Nintendo Direct happened. The song that somehow is in my head right now is "I'ma take you for a ride."
That
was pretty cool.
Popped up.
Yep.
I was watching the Direct in class because, you know, whatever, it's the end of the year. We're all just kind of like hanging out anyway, watching movies and stuff. So I told the kids, I'm like, listen, I got to watch this video at 10. You guys can use your computers, whatever. They're like, all right. But then a few kids sat with me and they were like interested. They started watching it. And it was so funny. Like they were watching my reaction and stuff. They're like, are you going to get this game? Do you like this game? Do you care about this? I'm like, nah, not really. Then like, Metroid. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. They're like, are you excited about this? Are you going to buy this right away? Like, it's so funny, man.
Yeah.
So, and I actually had one kid who, I guess he's a Nintendo fan too, so he kind of was like up on it. He like watched it with me.
Cool.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, fifth grade's pretty good about like, they haven't hit puberty yet, so they're actually still enjoyable to be around. They're still old enough to where they at least kind of know what's going on.
Right, of course. Yep.
It's a good age. Let's get into it though. So,
sure.
They start off with Mario and Luigi brothership. Well, first of all, taking it from the top.
Sure.
There actually is... I was trying to think of how to grade this as a whole. Honestly, like, okay, if we're like doing the three between PlayStation, I don't know if it's supposed to count or not, but that's their fault. They released during this time frame.
Right.
So, because it's like, okay, they did a state of play. They didn't technically do what would they call the bigger ones?
Do they have a different name for it?
I think they do. I think it's PlayStation Showcase, and I think that, that's what it is. And the showcases are supposed to be like the bigger things, and the state of plays are supposed to be sort of the things in between. If you were to do like a percentage, or like as a whole, there was some filler, is what I'm getting at. There was a section there.
I think you're definitely right. There was quite a bit of time where I was just like zoning out a bit. I'm like, okay.
It'd be like a 4 or 5 game gap of just like whatever, couldn't care in the slightest, and then it come back strong, and then it happens like again. There was like 2 lulls in there. So if you compare that to like the Xbox showcase, Xbox was pretty strong outside of like 1 or 2 titles, where even if I didn't care about it, they still were like, okay, I know this is a big, like Civilization 6. I don't play Civilization 6, but it's a big deal. I like this Fairy Tale 2, yet another one of these like Koei Tecmo destroy 500 enemies on screen at once kind of thing. Like this is not slightly interesting to me, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't into it.
So there definitely was like bits like that. So I'm not going to say it's as strong as like the Xbox thing, but then at the same time, you have way higher heights in this, I feel.
Right. Xbox was pretty consistent throughout. I thought this had a few high highs, but if I was to rank them in order, if we are counting PlayStation, I guess, if it's fair, I definitely put Xbox first, Nintendo second, PlayStation third in
Yeah.
terms of their showcases, and
Yeah.
maybe even give this. There wasn't that much I was interested in, but I respect that they had quite a bit of variety.
Uh,
I don't know. I say like a B-ish, somewhere around there, maybe something like that. I think Xbox was a little higher, probably an A,
Yeah,
right?
I'm debating B and B plus. I guess I'll just agree with a B if I have to take everything into
Yeah,
consideration. Yeah, yeah.
sure.
I guess
I
B.
think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, okay. But yes, let's get into the nitty gritties here. So Mario and Luigi
Sure.
started off first with Brothership, which good title. I like that.
I like the title too.
Yeah, Mario
Yep.
and Luigi bouncing around in Nintendo's latest game in the Mario and Luigi franchise, the first in almost 10 years. They actually say in the direct, they were like, we haven't had one in over 9 years. And Mario and Luigi Brothership will be released on the Switch November 7th. So there was quite a few like good titles coming still at the end of this year, which I was
This
also
year,
quite
yeah.
happy to see. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that was great. I will say I have not played a lot of these games. I played maybe like one or
I
two of
played the
them.
first ones. I think it's Superstar Saga, I think is the name of it. I played it a bit on
Okay.
GBA way back in the day. I liked it, but I remember being like, it doesn't hold a candle to Paper Mario, though.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So I played one or two of them, felt very similarly, and then I kind of fell off of that. And I when I saw this trailer, I was like, okay, this looks fun, but maybe my expectations are off. But I just thought it would look a little better. I feel like now with the Switch, they can make that art style look even better, if that makes sense.
I
I feel like it.
I
What do you
think the
think? Go
exact
ahead.
opposite. I was
You think it looked
actually
good?
loving the way it looked.
I like
But
the art style. Don't get me wrong. I just thought think like all right, think like Octopath, how they took the 2.5 and it
yeah,
just looks even nicer. I guess that's what I expected
okay.
this far into Switch's life cycle, but I got to watch it again and see what I really think, 'cause that was my immediate thoughts. So,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
might get this.
I thought this looked fantastic, and I haven't cared much about the series, like I said.
Right.
That's the only one I played. I think I tried for like half a second that Bowser's Inside Story, and I was just like,
Yes.
and just immediately fell off. But I think I mean, it is bringing me back. I am really interested. I really liked what I saw here. I do want to buy it day one. I think I think it looks incredibly charming. I think the
Does
amount
look very
of
cool.
diversity of like when you're in the environment, I never realized. I don't know how the previous games are. Okay, maybe the previous games do this a lot too, but it looked like there was a ton of like you're bouncing on flowers, you're doing a lot of environmental things as you're going from point A to point B. Like with Paper
Sure.
Mario, it's pretty straightforward, just like the classic JRPG where you're just walking down a path.
This is true. This is true.
And this game looks like you're actually doing a ton in the environment as you're traversing, and looked really fun of like just random things like Luigi getting on one side of the seesaw and bouncing up Mario on the other side, or messing with all of these enemies in the environment to get further along. It looks like a lot of like, I don't know, environmental puzzles as you're traversing
Sure.
constantly,
Sure.
and I really like that. I mean, I know that Paper Mario does that too, but this looked like to be constantly you're playing in the environment instead of like set pieces.
Right. Right. Maybe I don't know the specific timeline of all this, but maybe this had some influence from Wonder, because Wonder had pretty
Yeah,
much everything going on to like the nth degree. So maybe they're really starting to branch out, because it is probably hard with a franchise like Mario. Like, how can we keep reinventing ourselves? But I mean, they do it, obviously.
yeah.
So yeah, it looks like that'll be a cool part of it too. It's not just going to be straightforward. Go from this place to this place, fight these enemies, talk a little bit. It looks like they're going to be adding in some extra things to do on the side there. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
and
I
during the
might grab it
battles,
for
there was
sure.
a lot of interaction during the battles between your partner, between what you have to do with the enemy. It looked like every enemy when they showed the battle, you were fighting differently. It wasn't just
Yep.
timing of like blocking or stronger attack. It looked like you were doing tons of different activities within these battles. So
Yep.
I think it
Yep.
looks incredibly interactive for an RPG. I guess that's what I'm getting
I
at,
agree.
and I'm quite
I agree.
interested.
Very cool. I can't wait for it. And again, November 7th. That's pretty great to know that we
Yeah.
have that on the horizon.
Yeah,
So
I like these announcements. Like a few months out, awesome. Like I'm not waiting years.
I actually felt like they had a good 4 or 5 games that I'm thinking of for this year alone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, I think you're
So
right. So
yeah. All right. Well, next up we got Nintendo World Championships NES edition. It's all about speedrunning and challenges. There are also modes that put you head to head with other players in an attempt to be the last one standing as you make your way through the challenges. It's here on July 18th. I don't personally have interest in this, but I will probably watch people play this because it'll be fun to see how quick people run through this and compete and stuff, you know?
let me put it this way. I'm really into NES.
Right.
One of my favorites. I have a big collection, really into it.
Sure.
Weirdly, this isn't interesting me. I was quite interested in NES Remix, and I played it a decent amount. It's pretty
I forgot
fun.
about that game.
This looks weirdly more dumbed down than that. This looks more like here's a 10-second section of you just having to complete whatever challenge that you would do at this point in the game.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm kind of very whatever on it. But it comes out July 18th, which is pretty soon.
Yeah.
And it does have like online head-to-head and leaderboards and all that. So maybe once I get in, actually start playing it, maybe I'll change my mind and be like, oh, this really is a lot of fun competing with somebody online over a weird little NES thing here. But
Right.
anytime I was interested when I first saw this, but the more I see of it, the less intrigued I am, actually. I'm actually thinking this looks kind of basic and whatever. I'm not really into it, which is weird because I love NES and I thought I would be all over this, but I'm weirdly not.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like I want to, if I'm speed running a game, for example, like okay, speed run a whole game or at least a whole level. Why would I be interested in speed running a 10-second section of something? That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why this would be fun, but maybe I'm missing something. I don't. And they have little challenges of like, oh, maybe you take out 6 enemies here on the screen, but it looked like that's kind of in that moment in time in the game, kind of how it was anyway at that point. And it's not like they're really modifying the game as much, but maybe I'm missing it. I don't know.
No, I think I kind of agree with you. I actually completely forgot about NES Remix until you mentioned it there. Wow, that seems like a lifetime ago. But
that had a WarioWare type feel, where it's very fast paced and fun and cool and weird and wacky.
That was perfect execution of this kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe this is something we need to get our hands on, you know, to see how it all goes and everything. But yeah, so far I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait for this. So
because I was down on that F-Zero game, but like I said, once I actually got my hands on it, I loved it. So maybe the same can happen here.
Yep.
Anyway, Fairy Tail 2, that Koei Tecmo game, like I was saying, is a take on the anime Fairy Tail. In this real-time strategy game, you'll take on enemies in collaborative battles. It's coming this winter. So
there you go.
Yep. Now, this next one, I am very, very excited for because do you know what this is?
I do not.
Okay, so this is that diorama game to where everything made in the game, like somebody physically made like set pieces of like the houses, the environments, whatever. You know, think when you were a kid and you were making a diorama in a shoebox or something.
Sure.
So the whole game is made with actually like moss and grass and rocks and whatever with all the environments. Cool. And then they just put in the characters from there, and it only released on iOS. And this was a few years back, but it's the Final Fantasy creator, and this
I do remember
even the music is
yes
dude who did Final Fantasy 7 music and all that, Nabu.
I remember hearing about this and being excited and then realizing it was only coming out on phones.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually has my interest then after all. All right.
It was incredible. Really, really enjoyed it, but it came out in 2 parts. So you got like the first part when it came out, and then there was the second part that came out later. I never played the second part.
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to play this and have it all. And I'm very curious, like, it has a different name here, Fantasian Nero Dimension. And I'm wondering, like, is it just just the two parts together, and that's why they're calling that, or is there even more content beyond it, or is it like a sequel or something like? But I don't know. It doesn't look like a sequel. It does look like I'm noticing bits in the trailer that I definitely remember playing. So at worst, it's just the two parts in one. At best, they add more content.
I was just gonna say that maybe a little, maybe like a definitive edition kind of thing.
I mean, it looks fantastic. I just love the idea of somebody in there. There's videos that you can watch of somebody going into like the making of and just going in there with a camera in the rooms and like showing the whole like scale. I mean, you're talking a gigantic table with like set pieces, almost like if you ever watch like the making of Lord of the Rings and you sit there and look at all like the set pieces that they built. Same kind of premise, and
that's awesome.
I really love when they use practical effects to such incredible lengths. The game looks so pretty because of it when you're playing it, and I really like it. Yeah,
I just pulled up the video. It looks great. So another one to keep my eye on. I didn't even know I'd be interested in that until you said all that. So
cool. and all that aside, I mean, like the music holds up really well. The combat does have a cool, let's say, gimmicks to it, to where you can actually like, you're doing a ranged attack, you can actually like curve your attacks, you can hit 2 or 3 enemies at once, even though if they're not like perfectly lined up. There's a lot of neat ideas there across the board. Really cool story too. I really like it.
So you liked it enough that you'd be willing to replay it?
Oh yeah, and like I said, I only played the first half, and because when I played it and beat it, only the first half was out, and then when the second half came out, I just never went back to it. And so I've always wanted to, but I always secretly wishing it would come to another platform too, because I really don't want to play on my phone, especially a really more like it is a hardcore RPG. So it's like, it's not like, oh, this is just an experience because it's dioramas. No, you're talking like with both parts, 20, 30 hours. I mean, it's a full on experience. It's no just gimmick. So
very cool. All right. Awesome. Next up, we have Nintendo Switch Sports, which admittedly I missed the ball on way back when it came out, but I've always wanted to get it. But basketball is now coming to Spoko Square, where up to 4 players can team up locally and online to shoot some hoops. It'll come to Nintendo Switch this summer. I think I might actually grab this when the basketball comes to it, because my son would love that. You should,
because I was telling you, like, I do play it and I like it. I think it technically is a better version of Wii Sports. I mean, I can understand people maybe being like, I'm kind of over it, but I think it's great.
Sure. It seems to have a bit more going on.
It definitely does.
Wii Sports. So
even online, like, it's actually fun and worthwhile playing online.
So. It's funny. I loved watching them shoot the basketballs. It's cracking me up. So
I don't know about this specific like basketball sport. I won't know, I guess, till I play it. But I'm just saying, as a whole, I think people really underestimate this game. And I think it's really good. Mio Memories in Orbit. Here's another one of your like, you have to have it in any direct, where it's just like that pretty indie title, and that's probably a Metroidvania.
Okay.
So fair enough. Here's one. I don't know. I the amount of times I've seen these types of games, I don't know. It's really hard to care anymore. So.
All right, and then next, Disney Illusion Island. A new mystery update is coming to Disney Illusion Island, and it's launched on Nintendo Switch on Tuesday, the same day as the Direct.
So I'm sure we know now what the mystery is, obviously, since it's after the fact, but I have yet to go look it up because, again, I have yet to play this game, so I don't know.
Same.
No, it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty cool.
No, it looks cool.
But whatever.
Oh, this next one now. Man.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure, day one for sure. Hello Kitty Island Adventure, originally available only on mobile, is coming to Nintendo Switch, and it's also coming to PlayStation Xbox. It's a timed exclusive, though, meaning Nintendo players will get the super cute Animal Crossing New Horizons-like game first.
There we go.
It definitely is very Animal Crossing-like, but it's Hello Kitty. It's very much in that camp.
Yep, one of my students even said, they're like, is this like Animal Crossing, but not as good? I'm like, maybe.
But not as good.
I haven't played it, so I can't say.
Yeah.
All right, then we had Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. Now, when I saw the Looney Tunes first, I was like, oh, this is cool, whatever. Then when it was done, I was like, yeah, not really the game I was hoping to get from Looney Tunes, but Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports has 4 arcade-style sports mini games, including soccer and basketball, all with a Looney Tunes spin, like falling anvils. It'll launch on Nintendo Switch this fall.
Yeah, I
It
don't.
reminds me of a Tom and Jerry game I used to have when I was a kid, and I loved it. Now, was the game actually good? I don't remember. It's been way too long, but I've always wanted to play like classic cartoon games like that again.
Yeah, I have no interest, but hey, maybe it's good. I don't know.
Yep.
They showed more Among Us stuff. They're getting a free update. New crewmates, imposter roles like the tracker, which plants trackers, or an imposter who can turn invisible.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, Farmagia. Felicidad is a realm of monsters where a guy named Ten needs to take on a big army. The game is a farming simulator where you raise monsters to help you battle. Farmagia is coming to Nintendo Switch on November 1st. I'm not really interested in this, but I do give them credit for their creativity because it was like a hybrid of.
I think it looked cool. It did. Like
I
I'm like
think it
I
looked
don't know if I
cool.
would play it, but
Right. That's kinda where
I
I
do
landed.
think it looked cool. Yes, I agree.
I agree. I think it looks very creative. Not really the kind of game I'm interested in, but if I was interested in those two genres together, that'd be a pretty cool, pretty unique idea. So.
And the third time we're getting this game, but I think we should because it was originally released on Wii and then it came out on like 3DS later. But I do think it's a great game, and we do need a good, just current version to play of this. But Donkey Kong Country Returns, it's now Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and it's coming out January 16th. Now, this is definitely one of those cases to where there's no way they're not done with this, and then it's more of just trying to place it at the right date, just to spread things out, you know?
All the way into next year. This game is awesome. I agree with you. It's great. But when I first saw a Donkey Kong symbol, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna do Donkey Kong."
Yeah. It's pretty big letdown in that department. But for anyone who hasn't played
for anyone who hasn't, yeah, it'll be great.
This would be really cool. But I've actually played and beat through this game at least 3 times.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't want to play it again. All right, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. So we got a new trailer for that, but this is the first time we're getting a release date, which is November 14th. And then, like, as the trailer ends, it's sort of stuck on an image, and it's still fading out slightly, or zooming out, I should say. And then the music continues to play, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of going a little too long here at the tail end. And then bam, we get like more image of other characters, and it's like also Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are also being remade in this form. Which, if you guys remember, it was a few episodes back, it looked like they were like almost teasing it's going to be more than just Dragon Quest 3. And I was like, it looks like they're probably also doing 1 and 2. And then they confirmed that. So that is taking place, which I'm very, very, very... I was very happy to see this because, again, I've never played any of Dragon Quest this old that were on NES, and I would love to go back to them, but I'm telling you, I mean, this is like mid-80s, and it's just like, we've come a long way, and I don't know, I can't say they've aged back because I never technically went back and played them, but just looking at them secondhand is like, I never really wanted to. Sure, and even whenever they released them on Switch and just sort of like did ports and sort of like cleaned them up, but it's still the same game, but they just kind of like applied a more like cool graphic filter on top, basically.
Yeah.
This is actually rebuilding. This is rebuilding the game entirely, and sprawling it out and all of that.
I'm excited for this. I think it looks great. I've never played any Dragon Quest for whatever strange reason, so I don't think it matters to start with 3.
Well, 3 is the prequel, so 1 and 2 technically take place after 3. Think Metal Gear. Okay. Metal Gear 3 is technically what takes place first. Prequel. Now, I don't want to say why. I think most people know why if they're slightly interested in Dragon Quest, but I'll just leave it out in case somebody doesn't know. But there is a huge like whoa moment. But Dragon Quest 3 is the prequel to 1 and 2. I think it looks fantastic, and I think this is exactly what I'm wanting because I was thinking they were just going to do 3, and the problem is 1 and 2 reference 3 a lot, and so
Gotcha.
I'm like, man, it would suck if it was just that.
We got
And
our
you
wish.
kind of need to have all 3, and they all come together and all reference each other, and it all takes place in one the same world and all that. And then 4 is whenever you jump ship to entirely different like characters, lands, the whole shebang.
Right.
They're no longer reference to each other. So,
well, I'm looking forward to it, and coming out this year as well. So.
Yeah, November 14th, and then the remake of 1 and 2 are coming out in 2025. And they did specify in the direct that they needed to say, "Hey, it was a prequel with 3, so don't worry. Like, you should play it 3-1-2," is how they said.
Right.
Yeah,
because that's obviously some people will be put off by the fact that 3's coming first.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next up, Funko Fusion. 10 games showed off Funko Fusion, an action adventure game where you play as Funko characters, all set in different shows and movies like Jurassic Park. It'll come to Nintendo Switch on September 13th. Honestly, don't care much for that
Same.
one. I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
No.
Just because this next one is just a quick one, I'll just mention it. Luigi's Mansion 2 is getting an HD upgrade when it launches on Nintendo Switch on June 27th. Love the game when I played it, but don't really have any interest in replaying it. So.
Well, I never played it, so I'll be picking it up.
That'll be perfect for you, yep.
Yeah. The new Dempa Man. Now, I used to play this back on 3DS. Right when the 3DS launched, this was one of the launch titles that was like using the camera on the 3DS, and you could sort of like walk around environments and sort of use a radar to find Dempa Man in your area. And then once you found them, you have to like sort of capture them, sort of thing. So it's almost like a Pokemon Go thing, but with your 3DS and with these Dempa dudes. But it was actually a really deep, really cool game. And I only played the original, and they've released like 2 or 3 after the fact. And so it being so long since I played them, I'm actually interested in like going back and seeing, you know, especially after a few iterations, where they are now with the game, because I did think they were good.
Yeah, it's when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before, but it's not ringing a bell to me. So
yeah,
might be something.
They're really weird. I'll give you that. I mean, it's gonna be super hard to recommend to people, but
sure.
I think they're good.
Okay, great. This one as well caught my eye. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. Coming on Tuesday. Surprise! I've always liked the Metal Slug games, and it's been a long time since I played them, so that might be something I might check out at some point.
Yeah, so it's out now, and the weird thing is so we kept getting the trailers and discussion around the Metal Slug Tactics, but it never actually happened. And we're getting this instead, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, but it's not the same type of game. That was a tactics game. This is I don't know if anyone there's gonna deep cut here, but there was Rocket Slime. I think it was like a Dragon Quest sort of spin-off called Rocket Slime, where pretty much I know how to word it. You know, play like Advance Wars, where it like splits the screen in half and it like puts 2 battles going on against each other. Kind of has that to where like you sort of build your troops and base and everything, and then you battle another person, whether it's a CPU through the story, or you can go online with it and battle other players online of like your sort of, you know, a setup that you strategize to the best of your ability before you battle another player. But I think it looks good. I can't say I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna play this day one or anything like that, but it definitely looks great. I just don't know what to think about it because I don't know enough on the game. I don't quite get exactly how you play it.
Right. Might be a problem.
Darkest Dungeon 2. It's been out for a while, but it's coming to Switch July 15th. And then we got a big Nintendo Switch Online update. So, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past 4 Swords, we're actually getting to play. So, when the 3DS originally came out, remember the price was really high. It didn't sell a bunch. And then they lowered the price and had this ambassador program. And with this ambassador program, you got the 4 Swords game. And you could play it like multiplayer with the 3DS with other people, blah, blah, blah. But that was the only way you could have access to this game. They never actually released it for anyone to buy. And unless you had that ambassador pack, that's the only way you were going to play this game. And so, and the original release, you had to have GameCube with Game Boy Advances, and that was a whole spiel that definitely was very hard to access. So this game has always been incredibly hard to access and play, but now that it's on Switch with the multiplayer functions all intact, I am very happy about this.
Dude, we played it. We had our Game Boy Advances. It was Game Boy Advance, right?
Yeah, it was Game Boy Advance with the GameCube.
We had our Game Boy Advances. We had all our cables all over the floor. We had the GameCube. Now, granted, I thought the multiplayer mode was really fun, like the battle mode. We had a blast with that.
Yeah, so I really want to play it.
Such a pain to set up, but yeah, I'm definitely down to revisit.
Because now you can just like play with any one of your friends online and just hop right in. So I'm gonna I'm definitely playing this. So very excited.
All right, cool. Then we got Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero. Morona is on a journey to save her friend Ash, and Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero, which looks super cute, and it's coming to Nintendo Switch in 2025. This next one, apparently a lot of people are very excited about. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, Arcade Classics. 7 whole games coming as one collection.
So yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. One of those that I was super excited to see, and we'll get into it later in the episode, but I'm going down this whole rabbit hole with something. But it involved X-Men versus Street Fighter, which I've never played and always thought it looked fantastic. And anyway, so that's also part of this collection. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But there's it's like the cream of the crop of these games on one collection. And you can play it online and all that, and they're releasing it on all platforms but Xbox. So it's like PlayStation, Switch, PC, all that. I guess I'm gonna buy on PC just so we have on Steam and go between like my Steam Deck and play it on the computer. It's probably how I'm gonna handle this.
Probably best bet, I would say.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, we'll finally get to play Marvel vs. Capcom online again. Or if ever. I mean, there was like ways to do it through like emulation and all of that, but an official way to play online with these is going to be really cool. Now, the thing is, it's one of those games, it's like Melee, where there's like 3 top tier characters and everyone else is much lower on the totem pole. And so that's how Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like there's like 3 or 4 characters that you can super cheese if you know what you're doing. And so online's going to be really weird because of that, because it's going to be a bunch of people just like knowing the optimal way of just spamming and destroying people and it not being
like
fun.
The meta.
Yeah.
Always going to happen, man.
Yeah. All that aside, I'm still excited.
Yeah, no, it looks very cool. And people were really excited. You would have thought they announced some crazy things, so.
Yeah. Mario Party Jamboree, a new Mario Party, which is not a huge shocker, but hey, I'm down.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about this.
I don't know. I've been picking up every Mario Party recently, and I'll continue to do so, because it's definitely a great game. People come over and play. I go between Superstars and the Super Mario Party on Switch, and both of them are actually a lot of fun. And I kind of prefer Super Mario Party over that. Like, I understand the other one has like cream of the crop and you actually use like real controller and not like stupid like waggle stuff and blah 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 blah. But I don't know. I think Super Mario Party, like all the little waggle games, I don't think any of them were actually that bad. It was actually quite good mini games, even with the motion control stuff, and I kind of prefer that game. And so to see this running through with Super Mario Party and still having a bunch of like waggle games, I could see like the audience pretty split on that, of like, oh god, why can't we just have like actual like controller and just like mini games and not the, you know, motion or waggle or whatever the hell. But I'm not in that camp, so I'll say.
No, I think Super Mario Party is one of the most accessible, easy ones that people who game and don't game can so easily play. You know, like there's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
in there, but it's also still not like stupid or boring. Like I still think it's really
Yeah,
fun.
it's like games like, okay, you're cooking meat in a pan and you have to like flip the pan and cook every side
Right,
of the
right.
meat. Like it's whether you've never touched a video game in your life or you've played them your whole life, you still can have fun with stuff like that. And it still is, you're using skills, you're just using like everyday skill compared to like how fast you can tap a button, you know.
Yeah,
Comes
agreed,
out
agreed.
October 17th. Up to 20 players can compete online too. And they didn't release all the modes. They said, that, hey, there's new modes that we're going to announce later, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it looks to be like a huge, almost like this is easily the most content that it's ever been inside of a Mario Party kind of deal, is what they were
Right.
really stouting with this. So I'm about it. And they're bringing back
Okay.
a classic Mario Party map and then a classic Mario Party 2 map. Looks really good. I'm getting it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 100% getting this. God, it's gonna be perfect. Can't wait for that. Very excited. And then finally, we got Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. When you first saw this at the very, very beginning, what was your first thought?
I was very happy because very recently I was just talking about this and I've been thinking about this for a while of like, I love the Link's Awakening sort
Me
of
too.
like
Me too.
graphical style, right? And I'm like, man, I would love more than anything if they were using this, if they would use this again. And they
Okay.
actually did. I was saying it just a few
Yeah.
days. I want this style to come back, and they did it. And the problem with the Link's Awakening, there's like a huge blur on the edge of the screen. The blur is
Sure.
not here in this game,
Yeah.
and I was like,
I'm
hell
very
yeah.
happy about that. But also, I guess I was
Anyway,
more wondering, did you
the
think
game
it
itself, I know, but that was my first thought. Was just like, oh, that's that graphic style. That alone just had me
No,
like
that made me so
super
happy.
pumped.
But I
Um,
thought off the bat that it was going to be a remake of
Link to the
Oracle
Past.
Seasons or
I was
Ages
think I was
or
thinking Link to the Past
Link to
because it
the
was the
Past.
whole bit to where he's like fighting Ganon and it looks like the same room and the like
Yeah, yeah.
the
At the
same
very,
way
very
that battle would
beginning,
go down.
I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be the Oracle games or Minish Cap or something like that, but then obviously it wasn't.
Yeah,
But
I'm
this
super
is
ecstatic
great.
that it's not a remake.
Me
Yes,
too. Me too.
a brand
I'm
new game, and then the biggest like excitement bit is this: we get to play Zelda.
play Zelda, man.
I mean, it's like a win-win.
Bad.
Like everything couldn't be. I couldn't be happier. I'm like, we're getting the graphics style that I wanted. We're getting a
Right.
new 2D Zelda, new one. You get to play as Zelda. Like, I'm stoked.
I cannot wait.
So yeah, a game starring Zelda. It's Echoes of Wisdom, and
Yep.
the same style as Link Awakening, like we said. And when Link vanishes, Zelda steps up to save the day. It's coming out September 26th. Now, what do you think about how this game plays, though? You know what I mean? Like how Zelda
Yeah.
does combat and everything.
Yeah. So I wanted to pull it back up while we were here because I'm curious. I had a similar thought. Like in the beginning of the trailer, she's doing a lot of movement, a lot of running, whatever. But then as we keep going here, let's see.
So, yeah,
Starts
so
to
it
get a
doesn't
little.
look like she has a sword at all. It looks like all of your combat capabilities is all based around. Okay, so here. Let's just start with what actually is going on. So
Yeah.
you can. It's some interdimensional thing. There's all these like pits to where like it goes to another dimension. Well,
Yeah.
you can also like sort of clone an item that you can use later into the future. So it could be from a table to a chair to an enemy to there's so much a big variety of options and they even pull up menus a few times throughout the gameplay and it looks like there's a ton at your disposal of just being able to like, oh, let me just like drop an enemy here, but it's under my control and he can attack an enemy for me. Or let me just drop a huge boulder and it just crush a dude. Or let me just spawn a chair and I can hit people with the chair or something. Like there's all of these combat options, but they're all just you spawning from the collection of items that then you can use to not only fight things with, but also just solve environmental puzzles. So like, you need to get up on a cliff. So a very basic thing is, oh, you can spawn a table. Now you can climb onto the table. Now you can get up on the cliff. But you can like stack items. You can like spawn like, I don't know what the max item thing is. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. I don't know. But they look to be spawning quite a bit of items all at once and being able to use them all at the same time. So
Yeah, no, I think it looks great, man. I can't wait. I'm so glad it's September and not November or anything like that. So
yeah, September
cannot
26th
wait.
is not that far away.
No, not at
I've
all.
seen some backlash of like, it really sucks that there isn't a sword here and that you have to only like spawn stuff and you have to be creative. And then so it almost like that, like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, kind of like, hey, you have to definitely like be creative in how you're gonna handle this next bit here in the game.
Sure.
But I'm in the camp of, oh, I like that.
I love it. I think
But
it's a
there's
cool
definitely
change.
people complaining about that it's not classic gameplay of you just sword and shield and attacking people. You're having to like build stuff or whatever. First of all, you're not building stuff. That's not what it is.
Right,
So
no.
I don't even want to say that. It's really just spawning items and using those items
Right, and how many
to
times
your
do they
advantage.
doubt a new idea that Nintendo does? I mean, this happens all the time,
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not concerned. But
Yeah,
here, let me
and
run
no game.
these.
I don't think I've ever seen a game do this to where you just
No,
like spawn an item and have to use it, whether you're traversing or and also attacking. But it's not like you're not like merging out. Like Tears of the Kingdom is about like fusing items and coming up with new stuff. You're not doing that here. You're not fusing
sure.
stuff. You're literally just taking items that you've been able to add to your repertoire that you can
Right.
then reuse back. So I
Yep,
think
agreed.
it is very different, and I don't think I've seen a game really do that.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Before we move on from Zelda, I just wanted to mention that it's woke because you have playing as a female character.
How dare they?
It's cartoony to appeal to the pedophiles out there, and it is woke. So there's that.
I've I've been a fan of Zelda since I was a kid, and now they've ruined it by making us actually play as Zelda, right? I don't
Yep,
like it
yep,
one
yep,
bit.
yep. They're releasing a Nintendo Switch Lite, new edition, Hyrule edition. It's a gold Nintendo Switch with some Zelda graphics on the back and a little, Triforce tiny one in the front there. I don't know. I already have a Switch Lite. I don't need another.
Same. I'm surprised this isn't a an OLED.
I'm assuming maybe just Switch Lites sell more because they're $200. So maybe a lot more people just are like, yeah, I'll pick it up. It's cheap, you know.
Yeah.
And I would love to see like the breakdown of like which version of consoles. Like obviously not of all time because then you're comparing consoles that were out longer, but like within that same time frame, like which one's
Right.
selling more.
Right. Right. And how much does this Switch Lite go for right now?
200 instead because
200.
the OLED's 350.
Yes, that's true. Okay.
So you're talking $150 cheaper.
I mean that is a big discount there. So
Yeah, yeah. But yes, it comes out the same day the game comes out, which again is September 26th. Which, yeah, another one of these games that's coming out later this year. And also wanted to go back to where when the Nintendo Switch Online game's coming out. So we got that Link to Past Four Swords, but we also got Metroid Zero Mission also coming out, and then two N64 games, Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, and Perfect
Oh, yeah.
Dark also coming. So it's
very
neat.
cool.
Just Dance 2025 was shown, which
Yes.
whatever. We also got that Lego Horizons Adventures, which we knew of based off the previous Summer Games Fest. But yeah, again, still pretty interesting to see Aloy on Nintendo.
That
So-
was very jarring kind of to see.
and it looks like they're not like trying to shy away from it or anything because they also
Right.
showed it during the Nintendo Direct. So
Right.
yeah. So
No,
I
think
guess
that's
they're
pretty cool,
quite
actually.
proud of that. And then it has all these other like, okay, let's say this does well, right? Let's say okay, Lego games, I don't know how popular they are nowadays, but let's just say they sell a bunch and Horizon being on top of it and it sells like 5 million units or something. I'm sure Sony is going to be like, dang, okay, well, what we want to keep this ball going if it actually does like sell incredibly well. And it makes you wonder, would they ever do anything more with Nintendo? And the fact that they're even doing anything is just so drastically out there. Yeah, it just has me thinking like, could this, if done well, like bleed into a Ratchet and Clank game or something? You know,
Man,
that's
that'd be
what
so cool.
has me like wondering, because I don't know. I couldn't see like Astrobot wouldn't make sense. I get it's like 3D platformer, but it's so like PlayStation, like celebrating like, oh, here's a controller or a memory card or a PS2 multi-tap or whatever. I don't think that makes sense when you're trying to like celebrate PlayStation history and dump it down into another platform. But unless that's not what the new game's about at all and just ignores all that. But I kind of hope they don't. I would kind of hope that they still lean into the, you know, really obscure PlayStation history things as like collectible items. I like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think they're going to be watching this closely to kind of get an idea of, okay, what should we do next time? How much does this affect our own I don't see this really cutting into thank you, their sales or
I
anything
mean,
like
I
that.
don't either. It's a pretty far out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a Lego game and they just
Mhm.
happen to be a Horizon a Lego game and it's nothing more than that.
That's it.
I'm just more just thinking, but what if it takes off and they sell a bunch of copies and here they are looking at all this money being like, damn. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where my mind was going. What if that convinces them to want to try to do more?
sure, that's totally fair. Guess we'll have to
But
see on that one.
anyway, Stray coming to Switch this holiday season.
Enjoy that one.
Tales of the Schreier, a Lord of the Rings game. We got to see some of that previously in other showcases and just trailers in general on this game. It's just like I don't know, another one of those like make your home look pretty and, you know, hang out with the villagers, but it's Lord of the Rings style. So I don't know. That's coming this
Sure.
holiday season. I'm trying to just get through a lot of these, like, who cares? Ace Attorney Investigation Collection. Two Ace Attorney games are coming to Nintendo Switch in a single collection. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. It'll be released on Nintendo Switch on September 6th. The 100 Line Last Defense Academy. The 100 Line coming out early 2025. I don't know. Again, another whatever. Don't care. Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. Romancing Saga games are like, it's like that All Tale series or something. There's all these like JRPG series that never really take off too much, but
Yep.
they've kind of been around for a super long time. And even though like the name always rings a bell, like, oh, I recognize the name, I've never once played a single one. I've never once really cared to play a single one. But one's coming out October 24th, and then you can take this last one here.
Yeah. By the way, the Romantic Saga, you're right. It's like I can picture it in my head. I've heard of it a lot, but I've never once played it or
Yeah,
even really seen anything about it. So
I mean,
yeah,
since Super Nintendo days, so it's like,
long time.
yeah.
All right, and then finally we got Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Um, when they first showed at the very beginning of it, I mean, I knew right away what it was, but I was
Yeah,
trying
because
to temper my
you see the green text and it literally
yeah,
says Galactics, blah blah blah, and you're
right,
like,
right.
yeah.
But I was like trying to temper my expectations. I'm like, all right, is it even going to be Metroid
Is
Prime
it
4?
is it a
Are we just gonna
remake? Is it like Metroid Prime 2? Yeah,
right, or are we just going to get another teaser trailer? You know, but no, we got a full-fledged trailer. There was gameplay.
yeah,
There was some cinematics. I thought it looked very much like what you would expect from Metroid Prime, which is amazing. I'm sure as we see more of it, we're going to start to see behind the scenes a bit and see all the new mechanics, right? Because we saw the morph ball, we saw the normal strafing while you're shooting the with your visor on and all that. We know all that stuff, which
yeah.
made it so good. But I'm going to be very curious to see because I have no doubt that this game is going to be amazing. So I want to see what other cool stuff they put into it, you know. So I think the frame rate looked a little, little hiccups here and there. So I hope this ends up being like a cross game, like Switch One,
Well,
Switch
yeah. I
Two.
mean, let's get into that. What do you? I mean, I don't. What do you think it's gonna be?
Yeah, so that's what I think. So I saw what you posted about that you thought it was on Switch 2. When I watched it again, I was so back and forth, but I don't
It's
know if it's
like,
right.
okay, what I was thinking. Let's view the trailer now,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Because I want to point out certain sections of this where I'm like, there's
sure.
no way.
Because there's a few things that I agree with you. They make me think it's not Switch, but then others, I'm like, oh no, this is definitely a Switch, but they're really pushing it. But I'm not sure.
I'm gonna find some points here. So let's go about like 42 seconds in.
Okay.
And when you see those explosions and
Yeah.
different like blast and all the different things going on at once, I just don't
Sure.
see how the Switch is gonna sit there and run all that.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair, unless it's a case of, hey, we've gotten to know this hardware so well now that we
Yeah,
can.
I guess they're like magicians at all this stuff of like they really. I mean,
I truly
even
don't know,
when
but it is Retro Studios, and they have not made a game in so long. So maybe they've just really been figuring out how to get the most out of this thing. But I don't know for sure, honestly. But I do know that it has me freaking excited, and the fact that we actually got a year makes me think, hey, maybe this is really going to nail 2025. I hope so.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they put a release date of 2025. Here's the thing, though, they put like Nintendo Switch logo on it, so it's like unless the next console that they release or next system, let's say, because
Mhm.
again, what if it's just a handheld? What if it's whatever? I don't know. We don't know what they're gonna do yet. We don't know if they're releasing yet another hybrid. I mean, they've never released like, oh, here's a Wii 2 or here's a SNES 2 or anything. It's always been different every time. So why would there be a Switch 2? Why is that always just the go-to of what it's going to be? I think maybe that's the case just because people want that to be the case. I think people are badly like wishing, hey, yeah, and me as well. I want that to be the case.
Yeah.
But it's never once happened. We never got like, I mean, even like a DS to like a 3DS. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on there. It's not it's not just the same system but more powerful. Like that's
Right.
never happened.
Right. Right. It was a big significant change. I really wonder what the deal is, right? Because clearly, if they're going based off profits and revenue, then that's telling them, hey, we need to do this again, right? But are they just not doing that? And they're saying, okay, this was very successful, but we want to maybe change this, add this, do this. I don't
Because
know.
even the Wii was incredibly successful, right? And then they
Right.
released the Wii U, which
Hmm.
again, like that kind of feels like a sequel, but that's a whole other like, oh, now it's a portable tablet you're
Right.
using.
Right.
That's so far removed from, um, a remote and a joystick. Like,
It's so crazy the extremes. Imagine selling what 12 million units in your whole lifetime sales for 5 years, and then you're selling freaking almost the highest selling console of all time next. That's like so
yeah, yeah.
crazy. But no, I
So I mean, you think we're getting a Switch too?
man, I'm so back and forth on this. I have a feeling that we are gonna get a similar system again. Yes, more powerful. I have a feeling. But then when I think of Nintendo, I'm like, they never do that. I don't know. It's so hard to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. They never done it, but it's what I want. It is what I want. I just want it to be more powerful, and I would hope that it's even a little more power. Well, let's say to the power of like just because the Steam Deck OLED is a little more than the base, not too much, but I guess if you can hit similar specs. The thing is that thing's so like big though.
Yeah, it's
I
huge.
actually don't want if the Switch is the same. If there's a Switch 2, let's say, I'm hoping it's not that heft. But but I want the power. That's not really like, is that even possible? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
Nintendo can do and is like compared to other people with what power clearly, right? So like, okay, let's say this is on the original Switch, what we're watching right now. Um, it came out in 2017. When it came out 2017, it was already outdated. The chip is from like 2012. If some like it was some NVIDIA game stream tablet chip, and the whole purpose of this chip was just the design of just like, oh, well, you can stream games from your PC to this tablet, and that's all that chip was made for, of just like streaming games. It wasn't meant to like natively run stuff. And they're using this chip from freaking 2014 at the latest, but I think it was even older than that, 2012, 13 sort of chip. And we're in 2024, and games are like, let's say, even just Mario Odyssey, like, looks beautiful. And it's like, there's no way you would expect that on such a chip. So it's like, I guess they clearly can work with a ton. But it's even just far beyond Nintendo. Like, I mean, they can get, like, The Witcher 3 running on this thing. That's a whole other company somehow making that happen. Or, like, Doom or something. It's like...
Sure.
I guess... I think what it really is just, when it comes to other companies outside Nintendo, I think why they, like, make such incredible things happen is because they know the sales are there, and they know... no matter how hard they try, it's going to be worth it, because in the end, they have a lot bigger opportunity to sell on this system compared to something else, because there's far more of them, right? So that's what sort of pushes them to keep trying to somehow condense the file size, somehow condense the graphics, but still make it look, all that, where they just spend years of tweaking. And just to get it running on like lower hardware. So I guess that's sort of the drive there, where normally that isn't like, you're not making a game and the entire time you're thinking in that camp of like, all right, we need to make it somehow run on this weak thing, right? Like, that's not what you're doing when you're making a game usually. But whenever you're putting something on Switch, that's where the mentality then clicks in.
They also have, since so long ago, been like wizards with the hardware that they work with, you know. Now, I understand that the GameCube was more powerful, you know, in comparison to how the Switch is with the others, right? But that being said, you can still fire up Metroid Prime 1 today, the original, and man, you would never expect it to look nearly as good as any games today. But it's
same with like Luigi's Mansion or
right.
Yeah.
So,
completely blew the water off of whatever PS2 game was out at the same time. It was like not even close. So going back to Metroid Prime 4, I am in the camp. I think it just looks a little too good for it to actually run on Switch. So what I'm thinking is this trailer is the next console, but since it has a little Switch logo thing, maybe it is going to both, and what we see in this trailer isn't the Switch version, but the new console version, and then we'll also get it on Switch, so then they can technically put it on there. Or otherwise, I don't know, is the fact that at the end of the trailer it says Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and it has the Nintendo Switch in the top left corner, they couldn't not release it on Switch if they had such a thing, right?
Right. I think it's definitely going to release on Switch, but I can't remember when this happened with Breath of the Wild. If they were being cryptic like this, like, did they say anything at first? They probably didn't, right? I can't remember if it just had a Switch logo or what, or not a Switch logo, sorry, a Wii U logo or what.
Yes, they were just saying it was a Wii U game, and then whenever we saw the Nintendo Switch like reveal, that's when we knew it was also coming to Switch. You know, that wasn't the case until that reveal. So this is a little different now. I guess we're gonna get. I think that does confirm it is coming to Switch. The fact that you have it there at the end of the splash screen, but even at the end of the trailer, it's sort of. I mean, when you pause on anything and sort of like look at any particular object, like a tree or the wall or something, I mean, yeah, the textures aren't that great, like in terms of like compared to like a PS4 or PS5 game or something like that. Like it's probably like early PS4, you know what I mean, in terms of the textures. But it's more of like the lighting and stuff is where I'm just like tripping out about. Where like, man, and so much it like explosions happening, shootings happening, enemies all going on at once. Like it just seems like too much happening that the Switch I don't feel could handle. But I don't know. Maybe they've just been working on this entire time, and because of that, they were just working it on Switch this entire time, and they just somehow got it to work on it. And maybe it has nothing to do with the next console, and they were just able to be that good with it. And if that is the case, I mean, cool. The thing is the date though. It's 2025. The new system would be out by that time. So if they released, let's say it wasn't on the next platform, and the new system was already out, and they released for the one prior, that would suck. Actually,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
I could see a quarter one release.
Let's say the console comes out the end of 2025. We get the reveal because we have to get the reveal before March of next year, is what they said. So. Yeah. I guess we could get the reveal and then the system release at the tail end of the year, and then this is like the swan song of the Switch.
No, you know what? Sorry, I take that back then. I think it's going to line up with the release of the new Switch, whatever that is.
Yeah, I guess this game could run 30 on the Switch, but if you have the new console, it runs at 60 and looks even better and all that. And what I really hope, let's say we do get a Switch 2, the only thing I badly wish for, and I'm not expecting, but I just really badly want it, I hope to God they can somehow improve the back compat. Any of these games to be able to run at a better frame rate. Now, that just feels like way too much work, and they're not going to do it because they'd have to go back and like rework all these games that were built for 30 to go then run at 60. I don't see them doing all that, but man, like, do I so badly want it? Because there's so many games I would love. Like, Astral Chain is such a phenomenal game.
Yep.
But it really hurts that it doesn't run at like a smooth 60. In that game, like, there's so many titles like that where it would be such a like significant upgrade and like just make me really happy if that were to be possible, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's somehow of just unlocking the frame rate on back-to-back games and just see where it goes, because that's kind of what happened with a lot of Xbox games. I don't think they sat there and reworked every title. I think with a lot of them they just like unlocked the frame rate. I don't know. Maybe they can do something like that.
I just think it'd be awesome if we can actually get this Metroid running at 60 FPS, obviously updated visuals and performance and everything on whatever the new Switch is, you know, that'd be awesome. So I'll definitely be playing. Either way, I'm not concerned because I'll be playing it on the new one if it's a possibility. So.
All right, so frame rate, graphics, system, all that aside, I mean, what do you think about just the game itself?
Yeah, I think it looks extremely fun. I think it looks like what I loved about the original games, but I'm not dumb. I know Nintendo. I know that they have plenty of new things that they're not showing us in this first trailer. You know, think of the first time we ever caught a glimpse of Mario Odyssey. We just saw him jumping around real quick. It was real quick. Remember, it was like in that original trailer. And then when we see the hat, then we see how you can take over all these things. You know, so I have a feeling that Metroid will be the same. Now, worst case scenario, it's just an updated 2025 Metroid game. It would still be awesome. Mm-hmm. They still do exploration so well, but I have a feeling that we're definitely not getting just that. You know, so I'm very excited.
All right, and that'll do it for the Nintendo Switch Direct. That was the sort of closer, big moment, last thing to show sort of thing. And it's awesome because we've had a logo for a very long time, back in 2017. So we finally got it here, coming out next year. All right. Yeah, I'm sitting at like, I think a B is right with that. Because there's a lot of great stuff, but man, there's a whole lot I also don't care about. But the stuff is so strong that I do care about. It definitely
Thought it was
points to
pretty
score
decent
there.
direct. So
Yeah. Back on the Xbox Showcase, for some reason, I didn't list everything, and I wanted to talk on what I missed, plus one more that I wanted to go back on. Well, let's go back. One that I didn't miss, and that I'm like, man, I really wanted to highlight more was that Expedition 33. Because
that was great.
I just still keep thinking back on that game, and when I went back and listened to the episode, I thought you were talking about a totally different game, and so little was said, and I just wanted to re-highlight it because the whole thing with that is the production values are like through the roof, looks fantastical world, all that, but it's a turn-based, almost like JRPG. Now it's not Japanese, but it's definitely like Japanese RPG sort of gameplay, let's say. You know what it reminds me a lot? I mean, it's like Lost Odyssey or something, to where you're just like, where it's not the typical, like, well, even Lost Odyssey still leaned into like the anime aesthetic somewhat. This game is like zero anime aesthetic.
No, but they did do. And listen, I haven't played Persona, so I can't say for sure. But just from looking
The
at
interface,
it, right,
yes,
the interface kind of gave me that vibe, and I thought it looked so cool. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the fact that it's like not realistic, because there definitely is like a really cool art style to it. It's not trying to look super realistic, but I don't know, just a fantasy game and it not being like a Japanese anime aesthetic is like just in it being turn-based and all that, super cool. And then the premise I wanted to mention, because the whole reason for the title there is, do you know why? So each year, apparently they just pull a number of like, okay, it could be 12, it could be 48, whatever. And basically whatever number they pull, that's who pretty much like has to die. But what it really is, these people have to go on this expedition, but apparently nobody ever returns, and a lot of people think that they just sort of go off and die. But what it is whoever age 33 all has to go and take this journey to take down something. I don't know. It's still very like, they're not really saying too much, but it just seems like a suicidal mission kind of deal.
Okay.
But they're like forced to do it because whoever that number they pull. So I think that's like a really cool premise. And it reminds me a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 does a similar thing, to where like people only have like 10 years to live. It's not like some disease like Metal Gear Solid where they age rapidly and die because of that. It's more of like, after 10 years, they have to be sort of sacrificed to the queen kind of thing.
Right.
And they think they're like doing a good deed for humanity, but really all they're doing is just sort of like using humans as sort of shells for energy, almost like that Matrix kind of thing.
I see. Interesting. I mean, the game looked cool already, but that premise sounds even better. So
yeah. So it's like a group of people basically trying to like break their tradition of like, no, we're not going to just submit ourselves over, and we're going to try to rebel against it kind of thing. And that's so maybe that's the same with this Expedition 33. Maybe they're going to try to like, figure out what the deep, dark underlining secret really is behind it all or whatever. So anyway, it has my intrigue. So I just wanted to re-shout that out. As well as Mecha Break. This was like a really fast-paced mech game. And I remember there was a mech game at like the summer showcase that I was kind of whatever on. I think it actually was just Gundam. But this one's called Mecha Break. But there's no like IP attached to this of importance. But this game looks so incredible. I was super blown away, thinking this was one of the coolest mech games I've ever seen. And I keep like going back to this trailer and being like, I can't wait to play this thing. I'm super hyped on it. I think this looks incredible. So I wanted to re-shout that out. For some reason, that wasn't mentioned on our show there. As well as Stalker 2. They did re-show that again, and that game actually think does finally have a release date now, and the showing at that showcase somehow even piqued my interest even more, even though it already been looking incredible. But just being able to see more gameplay of it just continues to excite me. So,
Yep.
when's the release date of
I think
this?
it's September. I can't remember.
Yeah, September 5th. So it's not too far away.
Oh, man,
And this is one of these titles to where it's like, okay, now we're finally getting like what we've been waiting for with this current gen this whole time, you know, because it's nothing has like really blown me away. I'd say like Hellblade presentationally did, but at the same time, it's a lot, you know, very much in that walking simulator thing, and because of that, it's gonna look really good. But I think this game's like looks right up there with Hellblade 2, and it looks to be open world, really awesome gameplay bit, and
it's amazing, man.
It looks like you can sort of, I guess, spawn a storm at will or something, but that looks really cool. And then Mixtape, I wanted to shout out Mixtape, Nothing But the Hits, was a really neat game where it looks like it's set in like, I don't know, the 70s, maybe 80s, but it's just about these like teenager skateboarding kids. Right. But it just seemed to, okay, I do like Life is Strange, the first one, a lot. For one reason is because I think that is actually how teenagers act. I think it's like pretty authentic. And that I was getting the same thing here with this Mixtape game is like, of course they're weird and awkward because again, they're teenagers. They're supposed to be. And I think they actually do a really good job of representing how teenagers actually behave. And they were pulling off really well in that Mixtape, at least by the trailer. And it had me really, really intrigued. And, you know, it looked really fun. It looks like they mixed around a lot of like, you actually skateboarding down hills and doing a lot of like, almost like 2D platforming too, jumping through like, you know, neighbors' yards, trying to get away and stuff. And then like, I don't know, they seem to do a lot of like completely different style of gameplays of you doing this or that and telling a really cool story about how teenagers just like, I don't know, drugs, running from the cops, fooling around, like just very like skater punk mentality. I don't know.
Yeah, I love that whole vibe. I think it's fun. You know, it can be a little cringe at times, but I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it. I mean, better that kind of cringe that you would expect from a real real age group than fully grown adults who just sound terrible in their acting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's get into what we're watching, what we're playing.
All right, so mine is nice and short. I've just been playing Stellar Blade, and man, this game is so good. I love it so much. It's a combination of two of my favorite things ever. There's so much Nier influence in this game. I don't care what anyone says. And again, to me, a huge Nier fan, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I love that they really, it's not even like, they inspired. It's like, we want to be like Nier. I'm cool with it. It's fine. A lot of the music sounds very similar, but now I found myself singing these songs because they're so good.
Nice.
A lot of the story beats are very similar as well, but they're putting their own spin on it. But the thing I think they do better is I think the combat is definitely better in this game. Not that Nier's combat was bad, but I think the combat in this game is excellent. It's so good. It feels so tight. I play on performance mode, and it's just amazing. It feels great. You start getting really, kind of reminds me of Sekiro a little bit, where you have to really get good at parrying, but then you start unlocking other abilities to, you know, do like a last minute dodge. And then from there, you can do a lot of the abilities in the game. They're like twofold. It's like dodge at the last second, but then unlock this new thing where dodge at the last second and then hold triangle. And now you can do a counter attack, or don't dodge, but parry. And then you can do a different, you know, there's a lot of, it's pretty deep, the skill trees and stuff. Besides all that, the character is it's just so fun to run around with this character, unlock these crazy outfits. My wife walked by the other day. She's like, "What are you playing? Why is she wearing a swimsuit?" I'm like, "Leave me alone. This character's awesome."
Yeah,
I love seeing her run around like
the censorship, because there was some to where like, hey, they sort of like didn't reveal too much and all of this with certain outfits compared to the Japanese version, whatever. But apparently at this point, they've released a bunch of costumes since, and they're a lot more revealing than even when it was originally released or whatever, even the Japanese version. So they've kind of like, now that the game's already out,
we'll walk it back.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And listen, people, I always think it's annoying when people say stuff like, well, the only people who like this are, losers who have no girlfriend or wife. I'm like, that's not the case for me. But I still really like playing this game where the girl is an attractive girl. She looks good in the outfit. The graphics are freaking crazy. It looks so good. And I love just playing as this character and running around killing these enemies. It's just awesome. I love it. So
Yeah.
I think this game is really, really good. So yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm really loving it. I'm like, how many hours in? I haven't looked. If I had to guess, maybe like 10 to 15, something like that, maybe 15.
Okay.
But I'm getting to the point where I'm like thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about playing when I get home. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, that's a good sign. I do want to play it.
Really good. Yeah, you'd like it.
Yeah. I mean, I it almost feels automatic that I would like it.
I'd be shocked if you did it. And the good thing about it is like, you get tired of doing all the side stuff, no problem. You can mainline it. But I'm actually enjoying doing all the side stuff and unlocking new abilities and upgrades and all that stuff. So,
all right. So, I've been going down this rabbit hole. I've been doing this for a while. It's like, okay, so the Sega Dreamcast, for example, I was really like, I never technically owned one growing up. It was always like a friend that had one or like whoever, and I played it a lot by association or whatever. So I'm like, all these systems like Sega Dreamcast, TurboGrafx, whatever. I'm wanting to get these more obscure systems, at least here in the US, that maybe a lot of people didn't have, and then just trying to basically see what I was missing and just see a lot of the other side of things. Because there'll be a game like, you have like Kojima making Metal Gear and all that. Well, I never really played, Police Knots, for example, that he created. So I'm always just like, well, that would be neat to go back and see sort of, the games that led up to such like Metal Gear and all that. And apparently when it comes, speaking of Police Knots, it's supposed to be Meryl from Metal Gear is in this game, and it's her name, it's the character and everything. And I'm like, that's a little weird. So I started looking into it more, and apparently Police Knots, it even has the same music. Like when you start up the game, it's the exact same theme that plays when you start up Metal Gear Solid in the background, like title screen. I'm like, whoa, that's a little like exact. So what it is apparently it's like takes place at the same time as Metal Gear, but just on a different timeline. But then they never really took it anywhere because he ended up running with Metal Gear and never ended up really trying to like go back and make the two like more connected or anything like that. But it is supposed to take place on the same plane, just in a different reality or something like that. So I was like, oh, that's a little interesting. But I'm noticing a ton of little like Metal Gear things. Anyway, I was mentioning that because I was like, all right, I went down the Sega Dreamcast rabbit hole, and it is what I was expecting. I was like, it's like a 6, 7 at best. There's a lot of like really cool hidden gems that were a lot better than even I was expecting them to be. But overall, there really is just like, I mean, the PS2 or even the original Xbox had far better titles than what would be on that Dreamcast.
Yep.
And it could just be because it just only lasted a year or two, where the rest had a lot more. You're talking 10 years of games and all of that. And then most of the games that are good are like Japanese only and all that sort of stuff. And it just came out a bad time because they were like CD based, but then PS2 is technically DVD based, so you could do like 4.7 gigs on a PS2 game compared to like 600 megs on like a Dreamcast game. So then I was like, all right, well, what about the generation before that? Like I had a PS1, loved it. Again, I go back between PS1 and Super Nintendo is my favorite system. I think PS1 would win if I just had to pick. But I've never even seen a Sega Saturn in the like at a friend's or anything, and I've always just been like curious on it. So I pretty much just start downloading, looking up like what are the best Sega Saturn games. Start downloading a bunch of my Steam Deck, playing a bunch of different titles, trying to see what I think of this or that. Trying to sort of like, should this be a system I should actually try to find some games for? Try to go down this avenue of like, you know, maybe there's some ton of stuff I just never really got to experience or play or sort of see the other side. You know, how was it like whenever we were all about PS1, but over in Japan, you know, the Sega Saturn was actually a thing and actually taken off pretty well there. So I always wanted to see the other side of the fence there. So I'm actually getting a bit better results than even what I was with Dreamcast. I'm a little more impressed with the Sega Saturn in terms of like just the game. I don't want to say like game quality, but just the cool, interesting stuff that I guess during that time in general, they're all just experimenting with 3D game. It's still relatively new, and there's just so much more like fun, creative, weird take things than what you would normally expect when it comes to gaming nowadays or whatever. Not so dry. So it was really, really entertaining of trying other things. I'm like, all right, I'm sold. I do want to get, because the biggest selling point too with the Sega Saturn actually getting the system is same with the Dreamcast. You can just play burnt games. So all you need to do is like pop in a real game, swap out the CD with the copied one, and then keep playing kind of thing. So I was like, okay, sweet. And then you can even get like, it has a cartridge slot and it has a disc tray. So you can like use either one, which is a little interesting. And so apparently you can get like these mod chips, but what it really is just like a game cartridge you can put in. So whenever you don't have to swap the CDs, and you can play like stuff in Japan, even though you have like a US system and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go down, especially if I can just play burnt titles and all that. Now, I still like to actually own games, collect games. I mean, if I turn my camera, I have plenty to show in physical. But what I'm getting at is I just love to, you know, see as much, play as much, understand the history as much as I can, all that kind of stuff. And there's no way, like, if I'm going to go and buy every single Sega Saturn thing just so I can try it out and see what it is, it's like an impossible feat. I would have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to do so. So, anyway, so I start looking around the area, seeing if I could find a Sega Saturn in the wild. I actually found 2 of them between like 8 stores that I went to, but they're like $175, and I was just like, that's just too high. Everything online's like about $100, and I'm like, look, I'll pay like 10%, 20% tax because, you know, like, you know, you're helping a store out or something, but like close to double the price, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of a sale there.
So I was just like, man, that's a little annoying. So, you know, I guess but as I was out and about, all of this bleeds into Rock Band, because as I was out and about, I found a guitar for Rock Band, and I was like, dang, I really badly been trying to get back into playing Rock Band and find equipment and all that, and been talking about it for years. And I was like, all right, well, I found what I did about a few months back is I went ahead and even like got it all set up of like getting a PS3 emulator, modding Rock Band 2, where it's like Rock Band 2 Deluxe, and I just like imported like hundreds of songs through this modded version, and they upgraded a lot of things with the game, blah, 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 blah. And so that way you can like hook up whatever peripherals to your PC and it works. So as long as I can get PS3, PS4, or Wii equipment, I can use it with this game. So I was like, okay, it opens the doors of easy to be able to find other instruments. So I found it was a PS3 guitar, really good shape, $100, and I was just like, God, I can't believe, like, here I am, like, looking between a Sega Saturn and a stupid Rock Band guitar. And I was just like, I'm going with the Rock Band guitar, because I just really wanted to like have the social gatherings again of people coming over, playing Rock Band, and it being a fun party night. So that's the goal there. So
such a fun experience, man. I wish I had more room to just start doing that again. Buy a set again, put it out, just start it up.
So I got the guitar, and then I couldn't, you know, like, couldn't find drum set, couldn't find anything. All I found was the guitar. So I end up coming across a way to. I have an electric drum set that I got for Christmas last year that I bought for me and my kid. Well, I found a way to hook that up to Rock Band, and I was like, man, I can't believe I can even do this. And so I got drum set, I got the guitar. All I need is just a second guitar. Got the mic going, but between the mic, the drums, the guitar at this point, well, we're already basically there. So we already had like a Rock Band night already, and it's just great to be up in that bit again, and definitely gonna have a lot more to come, and just drinking and hanging out playing Rock Band till
awesome.
the sun comes up, let's say.
It's so much fun, man. Never gets old.
So yeah, it was a whole lot of fun, and I just I'll all I gotta do is buy one more guitar, like I said, and I'll have the full suite, and it's been a blast. So the ended up going the Rock Band route instead of the Sega Saturn route, but I'm definitely not regretting it. So
there we go.
And then I guess it's 2015 again, because I'm playing Monster Hunter World and Destiny 2. Actually, I don't know when Destiny 2 came out. When did that come out? Way later, actually.
2019.
Yeah,
when did it come? 2019, because the first one came out in 2014.
Yeah. Either way, I've been playing Monster Hunter World a lot, really getting into that, because like I said, I want to get into Iceborne. But Destiny 2, like the latest expansion came out, and it's incredible. I love it. It's so good.
That's awesome.
Because I mean, I don't know. I haven't played in years, so I don't know if it's just because of that, and I'm back into it, and it feeling fresh because of that, or is it just like, okay, is this expansion just really that good? But I'm seeing a ton of praise across the board on this last expansion, and apparently this is the last one, and then going forward it's just going to be like, seasonal updates until it's pretty much over. But of what I played, I mean, I don't know, it just feels like the level design's fantastic with everything I played in the campaign so far. I really like where the story's going. I just really think like production values are really great. It feels phenomenal. The music's great. The whole 9 yards. Just really surprised by it. I was not expecting to like as much as I was. It's just like a friend was really like talking about it a lot, and I was like, I don't know though. Like, I'm kind of over Destiny, but I guess I'm not, because I love it.
Did you feel messed up when you first started playing it? Like, did you feel like you got right back into it? No problem?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It felt supernatural. Like, I mean, I haven't even played it 4 or 5 years. I don't know. And it felt totally, yeah. Like, I jumped right in.
That was a game that was so well optimized on PC. I was so impressed by it. So I would gladly go back.
Well, it's in the Steam library, and Destiny 2 is free to play anyway, but when it comes to this expansion, you could play it through that, as long as we're not both playing the exact same game at the exact same time, which I'm close to beating it. So once I beat it, I'm not trying to make this my live service game or anything, but I've played 7, 8, maybe 9 hours of this so far, and let's say I beat it like 15 hours in. I think that alone, it was worth it. It's just a solid shooter. I really like it. So, but yeah, I'm back into that, and I got one thing. The Shin Megami Tensei 5 finally released on PC and consoles outside of Switch, and so that has been really awesome playing on the Steam Deck at 60 FPS. And I was playing it last night for a few hours, and I'm like, man, it's so much better here than playing on Switch. Because even on Switch, it's not just a 3060 thing. It's like, it looks a lot better too, obviously. Yeah. And then even when the game was running, it wasn't even staying at a stable 30 on Switch. It was like dropping constantly.
That's unfortunate, man.
And this is just solid lock 60 and looks so much better. And it's just
Like night and day.
so much better experience. I'm so happy, like, because I was really into it too. And but I'm glad I'll gladly restart for a so much better experience.
That's awesome. I mean, that always begs the question, like, when we go back to these people who are like, oh, I can't tell the difference between 30 and 60. I'm like, really? Like, play this. Play it shit every 10 times on Switch and then go play it on PC. Like, I want to put them back to back, right next to each other, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's millions of YouTube videos, and I'm sure it's incredibly obvious. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yep.
You're just actually lying at that point if you say you don't notice. I'm not believing the lies anymore. I'm not.
No, I don't either.
All right. Taskmaster VR, Quest 3, Quest 2, PC, June 13th. We're getting into New Game Watch here. Monster Hunter Stories, PlayStation 4, Switch, PC, June 14th. Monster Hunter Stories 2, same day as well. Shin Megami Tensei 5, like I said, now out. Blood. It's called #Blood. Comes out PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Switch, June 18th. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, June 18th. Still Wakes the Deep, June 18th, which again, it's June 19th as of recording. This episode will be out tomorrow. All this stuff will be out. We just didn't do it last week. Still Wakes the Deep, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, June 18th. Echo Generation, Midnight Edition, Switch PC, June 19th. Dice Folk, Switch, June 20th. Five Nights at Freddy's, Help Wanted 2, PlayStation 5, June 20th. And then Dystopica, PC, June 21st. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree.
Yeah.
Erdtree, that's how you say it, right? PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, June 21st. Reviews are out at this point. A lot of people are throwing 10s at it.
Yep.
And what is it on Metacritic? I don't know that. Let's see.
I think it was like 94 or something, I think, last I checked.
95.
So. 95, wow.
Yeah.
I saw just one review say they didn't like that it was too hard.
So I did listen to because people are allowed to like talk about the game now that it finally lifted. And first of all, June 21st, I mean, by the time this our next episode goes live, I guess we'll be talking about it.
Yeah, so, can't wait.
That's cool. Very few days here, but so dude was okay. Gene Park, Washington Post. He max level, back stat on everything. Okay, I think the level's like 800 or 900 or something insane like that. Every stat as high as it can go.
Okay.
He enters this DLC. First dude he runs into is like completely naked, but basically just like, you know, a cloth and nothing more. And when he attacks him, just a tiny sliver of health, and then the dude kills him in like 2 hits. And this is max level. And that's so awesome. It's like, so yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just this one character, right? Maybe it's just some sort of like, you know, the same when you start Elden Ring, the dude on the horse, he's meant to sort of like, oh my god, this is crazy, but then you can fight other guys around it. No, I get it. Apparently anyone around here would just wipe the floor with you regardless of your level. So how it works, I guess you get these sort of shards, and then these shards are what technically like power you up to where you can actually do a lot of damage in this new area. So regardless of what your level, these shards are what's more important, which right. I think is really nice to do, because I was trying to wonder how are they going to handle this, right? Sure. Of like, okay, somebody like play through the game, maybe even multiple times and super high level. Well, they'll just be able to steamroll the DLC. So I guess they found a way for people, you know, so people won't do that, to where it's just it's not reliant on your level, but other ways. So that's a little interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually a really smart solution. But from what I understand, yes, it's very much in your best interest to get the shards. But also, I feel like the From games have always been like this, where you can be the highest level ever, and if you're still not fighting carefully in the right way, you're still gonna get, destroyed right away,
Yeah,
So
I guess that's true. Like in
not
any
surprised by that.
game, even the normal enemy could kill you in 2 or 3 hits. So I guess that's kind of always the case. So yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah. June 21st, Cozy Grove, Camp Spirits, iOS, Android, 220, June 25th. Riven Remake, Quest 3, Quest 2, PC, Mac, June 25th. Super Monkey Ball, Banana Rumble, Switch, June 25th. And then Until Then, PlayStation
Never heard
5,
of that.
PC, June 25th. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm assuming you're gonna be playing Elden Ring on Friday right away, right?
I was wondering back and forth on this, and then I was like, yeah, I am. Of course I am. I was sitting there thinking,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, finish other things and blah, blah, blah. But I'm sure I'll be hopping right on board. I'm sure I'll be that idiot at, like, midnight where I have to wake up in the morning to go to work, and yet here I am trying to install, and I'm not even playing until 2 in the morning,
Right, right.
you know?
At first, when you didn't answer right away, I was like, I'm like, of course he is. He's just waiting for me to say it.
The problem is I didn't even beat it. I'm like 120 to 130 hours. I got to the very, very end, but I haven't played it in so long. I was just like, I don't feel like finishing it yet. I'll wait till later.
Right.
Never went back. And, well, I don't remember. I don't remember. Last thing I remember is fighting these, like, two sort of, like,
Oh, the two
they're like
rolling dude
whitish
and-
skin and, like,
yeah.
yeah.
The oh my god, what are those guys called? Something
But it's
skin,
definitely the
something-
final area.
Oh my god, now it's gonna bother me. It's like skin.
So I never even
something.
fought Melina. It is skin something.
Hold
I never
on.
even fought that, like, final one that I've seen plenty of videos on and all that. I
So-
didn't do a bleed build because everyone does that. So I purposely been trying to avoid the bleed build, and I
Right,
don't
me
want to,
too.
because I don't want to wipe the floor with, like, that's not fun. I want to, like,
No, I agree. I agree. I was a mage and it was very challenging. Some fights were easier, but I had a great time. I'd say just get back into it and start playing some DLC and then maybe jump out and go back to the normal game.
I guess I need to just, like, play it right now and try to see if I can finish it. But man, I'm just scared because it's like months of me
Right.
not playing, and I did beat those bosses, by the way.
Yeah.
Whatever
they're-
after that.
They're Godskin Apostle.
Okay, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, am I about to beat it? I mean,
Well, for me, it's
I guess that's a bigger question because it all depends, like, where exactly I go next and blah 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 blah. Right.
right. For me, it's no question. It's Elden Ring. Of course, I'm going to play it right away. But then I'm like, man, I'm having such a blast with Stellar Blade. I don't really want to stop playing it. So I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. Maybe I'll play a bit of Elden Ring on Friday and then keep playing a ton of Stellar Blade. And maybe first week or so we'll be back and forth like that until I beat Stellar Blade. Because it sounds like Stellar Blade can be beaten and most of the side stuff done in a good like 35 hours or so. So I got to see how many hours into it I am at the moment. Is my phone right there? I think it says on the PlayStation app. If my phone's right here, I'm going to try to see if it can tell me real quick before we wrap up here. I think it does
Well,
tell
I
you.
played a ton on PlayStation and a ton on Steam. But Steam's the one I'm about to beat.
Yeah, I want to see. Oh, so Stellar Blade, it says I've played 12 hours. Wow. Thought I played more than that. But plus the demo, I guess technically.
Yeah.
That was another 2 hours or so, hour and a half maybe. So let's say I'm at like 13 hours or so.
I mean, I guess tonight I could just, like, jump on and see exactly how screwed I am of, like, me proceeding or not.
I turned it on yesterday. I played for about 15 minutes, just got my bearings, shoot my spells, my sword, kind of get into a fight with some tough enemies. And first of all, it feels so good. I almost forgot how much better it feels than every other game out there. It just feels so tight and so perfect. So,
I guess
yeah, but
my
it was
worry,
definitely-
too, is I never, like, looked up anything. Why? Because I don't want to. But I never,
Right.
like, okay, what builds, what cool weapons,
Right.
here's where to get this armor. I did none of that. So the stuff that I have, like the weapons I have and the equipment I have, are super basic. There's absolutely nothing even slightly special.
I'd say at this
And I'm
point,
worried because of that, because I'm like, I feel like I'm just going to get, like, completely wrecked. like end game or like DLC, because I don't have anything special.
At this point, I think it's totally reasonable to to look up some good maybe weapons or spells or stuff to prepare for the DLC. I think that's totally fine, especially if you've gone that long without looking anything up. So
Yeah. It's not like I'm worried about it from like a pure standpoint at this point, because yeah, I'm close to beating the end. It's more of because I know I've heard stories of like, okay, to get this piece of armor, it's like all these side quests of like you got to do like 7 steps to get this thing, and I don't want to do all that.
right. Yeah.
And then I've already I've already done this, so now I can't even talk to this person anymore, and all of that stuff. And only certain things are obtainable if you do things in a super specific order and all that. And all that just goes out the window because here I am about to beat it, and I'm like, well, I don't know. But at the same token, I don't know enough about it. Maybe there's plenty of things I can find to where it really is just locating on the map and picking it up.
Yeah, fair point. Let me know. Let me know what you end up doing, because I definitely felt similarly. Like, man, I don't remember how to play this game at all, but I feel okay now.
Feeling that Elden Ring dread.
Oh yeah.
No, only because it's so good, and I just feel like, man, I just feel so out of my realm. But whatever. Obviously, I'm gonna suck it up and play. But
Yeah.
well, till next week.
See you later.